Hey loves, I am so excited to see you. Hey loves, hey. So I wanted to do this live stream with you. And we are going to talk about why he ghosted you and how to move on from ghosting. So if you've been ghosted, if you find that you are continuously ghosted, we're going to discuss why he's ghosting you. And how you can move on and how you can feel better about yourself, because I know that when you get ghosted, it's a really painful feeling. It's a feeling that a lot of times leaves you hurt, it leaves you upset, it leaves you angry, it leaves you irritated. Just a bundle of feelings. And so we're going to work through that today. If you do not know me, my name is Djuana Harvey. I possess a master's in community counseling with a background in marriage and family therapy. And I help you to date better and get ready for the relationship and marriage of your prayers. So if that sounds good with you and resonates with your heart, make sure that you like this video and that you subscribe. And also, if it blesses you, make sure that you share this with somebody else who can benefit from it. So let's get ready to hop into it. We're going to do a girl chat. So get your popcorn, get your tea, and just enjoy the moment, right? Because I'm going to take my time. So whatever time it takes, it takes. Why he ghosted. So I'm going to start off with a ghosting story. So I can tell you that I know firsthand what it feels like to be ghosted, because I have experienced being ghosted. And so when I was ghosted, it happened because I was falling in a lot of with this particular man. I felt like, he was my husband. You know how we get, especially if you're a church girl. We know if you know how you get when you really like a man and you're like, this could be the one, give me a like. And he was saying all of the right things. And so because he was saying all of the right things, I found myself really falling for him. And so I just remember it went on like that, like a month, and I didn't hear from him. Like it had been a month, then it had been 2 months, then it had been 3 months. But in my heart, I was still praying and hoping that, he would come back around. I was praying and hoping that things would work out. I was praying and hoping, that he would come back. Long story short, you guys, after like 2 months of crying, 3 months of crying, praying, hoping that he'll come back, he pops up and he's in a new relationship with somebody else. And he ends up, I got permanently ghosted, and my heart was devastated because I was like praying. I'm like, Jesus, this is the one. I believe this is the one. Like, I was so hopeful that he was going to be it, and he wasn't it. And so, I got ghosted. So I know what you guys are going through. I want you to know that I feel you, I understand you, and I relate with you. And so I want for you to make sure that if you have been ghosted, that you watch this video all the way through. If you guys do not know, I'm a teacher, so I definitely am going to teach you guys. If your style is to take notes, take notes. If your style is like me, you like clean up and do stuff while you're listening, you can clean up and do stuff, whatever gets you going. But I'm going to take my time with this because I really want you to be helped with this area, because I know how it feels to be ghosted. So why do men ghost? So men usually ghost, and I'm going to share this with you. Men usually ghost mainly because it's more so of a casual relationship. Maybe they've just started talking to you. They've just started getting to know you, and it's something that's more so casual. And they're just like, you know what, for some reason, this is not going to work. For some reason, it's just not clicking with this girl. And rather than have a conversation with you, rather than to really talk to you about it, rather than to really go in depth with you about why he doesn't feel it for you, why he's not, feeling that chemistry with you or that connection with you, he will just ghost you. And I know that feels painful to you. I know that can feel frustrating to you. I know that can feel just like, Like, he's so immature. Why did he do that? You know, us women, we hop to all types of conclusions. And we just get really, really upset. But you have to understand that a man does not want to experience, many men do not want to experience hurting a woman's feelings, causing her to feel horrible, causing her to feel less than, causing her to feel bad about herself. So rather than do that, they will just pull away. They will just pull away. They will take the space that's needed. They will just pull away. And so they usually do that when the relationship is more so casual. And if you see me look to the side, you guys, it's because I do use notes. I could just, like, I love teaching. So it's because it does seem casual. And you know, you may be wound up in a ball like, oh my gosh, like, he's been having me on the fence for weeks. I hate the way that this feels. You may be feeling super frustrated. And you may even wonder, like, did he even care at all? You know, did he even like me at all? Did he even want to get to know me at all? Or was this just all a game from the beginning? Was this all a game? Did he just, you know, want to play with me, want to play in my heart, want to play with my emotions? And I just really want to say, you guys, because I know that when I went through my experience with ghosting, it was a really painful time, and it was really just frustrating and upset. And yeah, I did go all the way there where I'm like, well, did he ever like me? You know, did he ever care? And what I want to encourage you is to not go to that point where you're just like, oh, did he ever like me? Did he ever care about me? You know, just beating yourself up. Like, that is not God's heart for you. And that is not what God would want you to do. All right. So don't worry about that. Don't think about that. When men ghost, they ghost a lot of times too, because they just want to just let it be, you know, let it be. They just want to let it be. And they figure like, okay, well, maybe I'll call and break the news to her on the weekend. And then they're like, the weekend is bad because then her weekend will be messed up. Or they're like, well, maybe I'll call and break the news to her that we're not going to work out, you know, the next week. And then it just slips their mind. And so a lot of men are well-intentioned, and you'll get so much further in dating if you have this mindset, but they are well-intentioned. But at the same time, by the time they finally get around to like maybe breaking it to you, they're like, so much time has passed by. Why even go ahead and try to do this? Why even go ahead and try to break the news to her? So much time has passed by. Hopefully she's on the same page as I am. Hopefully, like, she gets the hint. And so you're ghosted. So you don't hear from them for weeks. So you don't hear from them for months. So you don't hear from them. And so you're ghosted. And a lot of times, yeah, it can leave you feeling like, you know what? I got the short end of the stick. I seem like I always get the short end of the stick. And you guys, this is what part of what my masterclass is about. So if you check the description box, I have a link to my masterclass that really helps you to deal with situations like this and change your mindset around dating and relationships. So make sure you check that out and make sure that you register and sign up. I have slots available. Sign up for that training and sign up for that teaching, because it's really going to help you if you are struggling. If you're like, Djuana, I am in pain. This man hurt me. I'm doing it God's way, and it seems like I'm not getting results still. Like, where is the Lord in all of this dating stuff? Girl, I got you. Okay. All right. So back to a man's perspective. What I also want you to realize is that sometimes he's just not a good fit. So when he realizes that you're just not a good fit. And as women, like, you just can't take it personally, because a lot of times, like, we are not good fits either for them, and they are not good fits for us. And so if you're taking it personally, it's just the wrong way to go. You know, you can't get offended. You know, you have to realize that sometimes you're a good fit, sometimes you're not. You know, even as a kindergarten teacher, I teach my babies, like, sometimes things work out. You want to play Legos with a certain person, and sometimes they don't want to play with you. It's okay, you know? And I know I'm teaching this in a very practical way, but I need for your heart to realize that it is okay if a man ghosts you, or if he is not for you, or if he does no longer wants to be with you. All right. You don't have to go all the way to the point where you're thinking, well, I must be unlovable. I must be unworthy. I must not be worthy of love. I must not be a good candidate to be a wife. That none of this, because you got ghosted, this does not mean any of this. Because you got ghosted does not mean that you are not a wife. It does not mean that you are not worthy of love. Because you got ghosted does not mean that God does not still have somebody for you, and somebody who will love you, will serve you, will honor you, and you can love and serve and honor them as well. Because you got ghosted, it does not mean that God does not still have a plan for your love life. We go all the way to thinking that we're unworthy, we're unlovable, we just aren't anybody's type, we'll never get the ring, we'll never get married, we'll never get a boyfriend, we'll never get in a relationship. And that does not mean that. We start to feel unlovable, and then we start to fall into this feeling of desperation. So this feeling of like, what's wrong with me? Why is it always me? Why am I always the one that's left out? Why am I always the one that gets ghosted? Why does this pattern keep happening in my life? And so I just want you to take a deep breath, like even as you're listening to this, and just know that God has got you. God has got you. Like, I know that you're hurt. I know you're upset. I know you're frustrated. I know your biological time clock is ticking. I know people want you to just glaze over the fact that it's ticking. I know that things are hard, but I also want you to know that Jesus has you and that Jesus loves you, and that Romans 8:28 says that, and we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord, who are called according to his purpose. And so if you are ghosted, know that it is still working together for your good. Know that God still has a plan for you, even in the ghosting, even in him leaving, even in him moving forward. All right. And because he ghosts him doesn't mean that you as a person are unworthy. Because he ghosts you doesn't mean that you are unattractive or you are unlovable. It means none of that. So remember that you are worthy of love. And remember also that many women have been ghosted. I've been ghosted. Other women have been ghosted. The women that I coach have been ghosted. And so when you can get into your mindset, like, okay, I'm not the only one in this journey. I'm not the only one that's been ghosted. I'm not the only one. It makes this thing so much better. You are not alone. There is nothing wrong with you. So what do we do next? We realize that he's ghosted us. We know that there's the reasons for being ghosted. And if this blesses you, feel free to like the video. It helps more women to be able to find this. So the next thing that we need to do in order to recover, how do we recover from the ghosting? How do we recover from a man hurting our hearts unintentionally or intentionally? How do we pick ourselves up and pick our chin up and realize that we're still worthy? Number one, we affirm ourselves and remind ourselves of who we are and whose we are. So who are we? We are God's daughters. We are loved by God. You are loved by God. You have still a purpose. You still, if it's a desire of your heart, you will get married. I believe the Bible says in Psalms 37 verse 4 that God will give you the desires of your heart. So if it's a desire of your heart, he will bring it to pass. So remember that and affirm yourself with that. Number two, I beg of you, do not get closure. If you were one of my students in my course, in my class, Forever Love, I would have you writing this down. Like, do not get closure. Closure is for women. Closure is not for men. So men do not need closure. A lot of them. Some men do if they really loved you. But a lot of times we as women, we go after and we try to get closure from men. And we only end up with our feelings hurt. When you try to get closure, you end up with your feelings hurt, you end up being ignored, or you end up with a rude response in return. And so to protect your heart and to keep your life going in a way that feels good, which is what I deal with my clients, is just keep moving forward in a way that feels good. You have to be okay sometimes with not getting closure. I know we want to tie everything up with a neat little bow. I know we want to find the reason and we want to talk through the reason with him as to why did it didn't work and how can we get this feeling to be right. But here is the secret about men. Men are not moved by us talking through our feelings. Men are moved by what they feel. And so we have to understand that they're not going to be moved because we cry and whine and complain and beg for closure. If they don't feel it, they don't feel it. So I beg of you, don't try to get closure. Allow for the door to close. The most powerful thing that you can do when a man no longer wants you is to not allow for him to tell you more than once that he doesn't want you. The most powerful thing that you can do is to move forward with your life, is to choose to proceed forward and let it go. Somebody asked me for advice today on my Instagram at Djuana Loves Purity. And one of the things that I told her, she was talking about a man who broke up with her and he's getting married. And she was asking, how can she continue to move forward and he's getting married? And I told her that there is no way that you can move forward in life if you're always looking back into the rearview mirror. So what does that mean for you in the situation of being ghosted? God can't bless you with something new if you keep looking back to what used to be, back to what you used to have, back to what was good. You have to trust God for better. You have to trust that God has a better man in store for you. You have to trust that if that man didn't work out, then God has somebody who it will work out with. And you have to let it go. A lot of times women, we internalize stuff. We make ourselves sick over stuff. We make ourselves, depressed over stuff. We gain weight over stuff. We handle and we cope with things in such a bad way when really we can skip all those steps of overeating and feeling bad and putting ourselves down and just go to God and give him that care and move forward. Let it go. So move forward. When you see he's ghosted you, just move on. Thirdly, I need you to realize that it just wasn't a match. If you're in the comments, tell me how you're going to move forward and how you're going to be okay moving forward from now on. It wasn't a match. And if it's not a match, it's okay. There is a match out there for you. In fact, there are potential matches out there for you, but you have to shift your mindset to believe that he exists, that potential matches do exist, that God has not forgotten about you, and that you are still worthy of love. And so if you're ghosted tonight, or if you're ghosted today and you're watching this and you're replaying it, I want you to know that you are still loved. I want you to be easy and gentle on yourself and remind yourself that you're still worthy of love. And I want you to know that God has somebody out there for you who will be your forever love. And if you're interested in working with me on meeting your forever love, click the link below, book a call, register to talk with me, and we'll chat more about how I can support you in this. I know that ghosting is painful, but there's a way to get through it where the pain lessens, where you beat yourself up less, where you take less of the blame. And this is what I work with my clients on, where you feel less beat down upon. And I want you to navigate it in a healthy way when you're ghosted, when you're dating. So you hear that I didn't say if you're ghosted, it's when. Because even as you go throughout this dating process, everybody's not going to be a match. Just like if we're honest as women, when we date, every man that we date will not be a match. I remember there was this one particular man. He was so bent on dating me. And we had nice time together. It felt good when we were together. But in my soul, and I posted about this on Instagram, in my soul, I knew that he wasn't it. And so I had to let him know he wasn't it. Likewise, men let us know that we're not it. But we take it personal and we get so hurt over it. We have to learn to let it go. We have to learn to release it. We have to be okay with it not being that particular man. So if you are interested in working with me, my loves, click the link below and we will discuss more about how to overcome ghosting and date in a way that feels good and date in a way that feels better, especially for my Christian ladies. I typically work with women that are between the ages of late 20s to your late 50s. That's my client database. So I love you guys. I pray that this blesses you. Make sure you subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.